to this episode of Knit with Noma. I'm recording from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm just so excited to be sharing what I've been working on with you today. So first of all, I'd like to talk about what I'm wearing, and this is the Mufunwa top, and today it's really hot. So as you all know, here in the Southern Hemisphere, we're actually getting towards the end of summer, and it's been very hot for the past 2 weeks. I think we've really had much rains, but it's been intensely hot. So today, just before I started recording, it was around 31 degrees Celsius, and that's about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's been quite hot. So I'm wearing the Mufunwa top, and this is knit with Nurturing Fibres Eco Cotton in the colors olive and vanilla. So I noticed that I wasn't really feeling much hotter than I was when I was wearing a different fabric. So I think this cotton yarn is really great in this weather. I can really wear this outside, even if I was taking a walk or doing a lot of strenuous work. I won't feel any hotter than I would with something else like a store-bought fabric or a t-shirt or anything. So this is really working out just fine, because the fabric somehow is very cool when you wearing it, when you're feeling it against your skin when it's this hot. So it's working out just fine. I'll be sharing a couple of things with you today, so I'll link this below in the description. It's available on Ravelry and on Etsy, so I'll link both shops and you'll be able to get it if you're interested in this top. It can also be knit just plain. I think one of my testers did a plain version of this top, and you can also color block it and just have one color at the top and the other one at the bottom. So you can play around with this quite a bit. You don't necessarily have to do the stripes. I love the striping and the boldness and the thickness of the stripes, so you can try that as well. The next item that I want to talk about is huge. It's literally taking up the space here, and it's launching today. I think by the time you see this video, this will be live on Ravelry and on Etsy. So the good news before I actually show you this top is that this coat is that this is my birthday launch for this year. Today is the 23rd of February, and my birthday is going to be tomorrow, but because I won't be available at home to do much of the work, I've decided to launch it today. So this is my birthday launch for this year. It's called the Zazi coat. It's very large, and I think the best thing will be to put some photos here. It's got this beautiful ribbed cable pattern and the sleeves, and it's got some drop sleeves, and the double cuff is very long, like it's this long, and you fold it in half, and you've got this super extra cozy cuff. That's what I was going for with this coat, and it's around hip length and has a double knitted belt and some loops made with I-cord. So there's a lot of little details that are involved here. Oh yeah, and the collar is a shawl collar. It's extra thick, and this is how it looks. I'll just include some photos because I don't think you can clearly see anything here. So this is it. It's done and dusted, and I can't even wear it. I went for a photo shoot yesterday. It was so hot. I was literally sweating by the time I was done with the shoot, because I had to try it on with different items to show different looks, and it was intensely hot with all the lights and everything. But we managed to do the shoot, and I'll also pop in some of the photos here. So this coat is knit with Kokon Aran Merino wool. It's in the color Dune, and it's one of those very desaturated browns. It's a very beautiful brown shade, and I picked it because I wanted to make sure that it worked well with literally everything in my wardrobe. I can wear it with black, it pops out. I can wear it with linen, cream linen pants. I could wear it with, I even wore it with a red dress, and I've tried it before with a blue one, but I didn't take it to the shoot. But it really works with almost all the colors out there, whether you're wearing it with a bright color or a muted color, it still just blends with everything. And I think that's the good thing about these time consuming projects, because it does take a lot to knit this coat and finish it. But you want to make sure that you're knitting it with the type of yarn or the color of yarn that's going to work with most of your wardrobe. So it doesn't have to be a neutral color like what I did here. I did a neutral color because most of my wardrobe is very neutral. But if your wardrobe is mainly brighter colors, you can just find a color that you really will reach for and wear as much as you can. And I think that's the best thing you can do with this particular design. It wasn't really that time consuming as I expected. Honestly, I think what took the most time for me, or what was the hardest, was knitting the belt. The belt felt like knitting the whole thing. I think it's because I love knitting cables and I enjoyed it. It was a bit of a challenge working on the belt on its own. I was using it as the school run project. That's why I think it felt like it took so long, because I wasn't really taking much time to work on it. I was just knitting it on those short trips to and from school, and then it felt like it took forever. But when I'm thinking about it now, I think if I had really taken the time and sat down for a day or two, I would have done it within that time frame. But just knitting it in those short blocks of time made it feel like it took forever. It's quite an interesting construction, and I'm talking about double knitting. So what I did with the cast on, I did the tubular cast on, so it's got this rounded edge. So the belt is like this tube, and then for binding off I used Kitchener stitch, and so the end looks just like this as well. So it's like you've got this long tube. It felt really good to knit it. I enjoyed the whole process. It's very mindless, and I also love the way it looks and the finish that you get. I've done ribbed belts before, but I really loved this even more. I think that's the belt I would make on the different designs and garments that I make in the future. So the pattern is going to be available on Ravelry and Etsy, and it's going to be 39% off since I'm celebrating my birthday. And that will also include the other patterns that I've launched on previous birthdays before. That includes the Tiisetso, the Bontle. What's the other pattern I've done for my birthday? It's not Nandi Pa, what's that one? Londiwe, and the other one is Lubanzi. Yeah, so all the 5 patterns that I've launched for my birthday in the past are going to be 39% off. So I hope you'll find something that you like, whether it's this coat or the other patterns. Oh, and one other thing that I'd forgotten to mention is that this coat has only got 3 sizes. So this is the first time I've designed something with very few sizes. But all the sizes accommodate everyone from 28 inches to about 66-inch bust. So what I noticed when I was grading, and when I was starting to work on this project, because I normally grade before I start knitting just in case it doesn't work out, is that because of the large blocks of repeats between the sizes, it was impossible to have too many sizes. Otherwise the cables were going to be cut off. It wasn't going to be really such a smooth and neat finish. So I ended up having to do 3 sizes. I think one repeat has to have about 40 stitches in order for it to have that symmetrical look. So basically the pattern has got a 20 stitch repeat, but in order for the pattern to really work out, I have to do 40 stitches instead of 20. So when I was grading, I noticed that if I do a very small number of stitches or too many stitches, it will be ridiculously large. I think if I went one size above the one that I did, I would have a circumference of about 96 inches, and that's really not necessary. And then the smallest size will have a very small block of cables. It won't really look good if you're wearing it. So I had to end up with 3 sizes. There's the 48-inch, the 64, and the other one I think is 76. that's the largest. So for my size, I did the 64-inch one, so I've got about 22-inch positive, 22 inches of positive ease, and it feels just fine and it's comfortable. So I could even put on other things at the bottom and layer it, and that works out just so well. So you'll see in the description of the pattern, I've also included which sizes fall under which category. But I think even if, say, someone has got a 41-inch bust like mine, if you want to knit the smaller size, that is 48 inches, you can still do that. You can still shift around. So I'll talk about more sizing information when I share the next finished object that I did. So the coat has got 3 sizes, and I think for coats and maybe something, those blanket shrugs, you can do with less sizes and still include everyone in the sizing spectrum that we work with as knitwear designers. So that's the important information that I wanted to share here, so that when you get to the pattern, you won't be shocked when you just see fewer sizes compared to the normal 10 or 11 sizes that I do for my knits. The next finished object, oh sorry, let me go back to that again. So for this pattern, you just need to use the code HAPPY39 to get 39% off this design and all the other birthday launches I've done in the past. This is my 5th year of doing a birthday launch, and it's always a garment, so you can just get any of those garments at 39% off over the weekend. So the next finished object that I have is the Phakama cardigan. So this is one I'm so excited about, and I also did the shoot yesterday, so I'll include some photos so you can see it more clearly. So this is my basic intarsia cardigan. As you can see, this is the back. One side is in black and the other one is in beige, and when you turn around, you would have swapped sizes. As you can see, the black back goes with the beige front, and this side is the opposite as well. And then the sleeves are the opposites of the front, so you've got the beige sleeve and the black sleeve on one side. So it looks like this, and there's a double knitted button band as well. I did a lot of double knitting in the past few weeks, and 4 buttons. So the buttons start right here at the beginning of the V, and they end just above this point of the ribbing, because I wanted it to have a bit of some movement, so it's not tight right at the bottom. This was quite a quick one. I mean, I've never knit a garment so fast, but this was a very quick one. It's in Aran weight yarn. I used African Expressions Harmony, and the colors are 2081 and the other one is 2029. The 2 colors just blend so well together. I'm really loving this one, and I'm looking forward to wearing it. I've actually worn it once, though I really didn't think I should at the time. I wanted to keep it for photography first, but I was so tempted. I wore it once and it really felt so good, and it looked so good with the pants I was wearing it with. So this is the Phakama cardigan. So for this one, unlike the coat that had some different sizing, because it's just stockinette stitch, it's got 11 sizes, and the smallest size is going to be 30 inches and the largest is going to be 70. So when I'm doing garments, I try to make sure that I accommodate the smallest sizes as much as possible, so that even if someone who's got a 28-inch bust doesn't want too much ease on their garment, they'll still get a size that they can work with. So I started with 30 inches so that even if someone wants a more fitted cardigan, they'll still be able to knit this and wear it without any problems. Mine is 46 inches, I think. Yeah, no, not 46, is it? Yeah, it's 46 inches, and I've got 5 inches of positive ease on this one, and I really have been enjoying wearing it. And because I wanted very little ease, it works well with skirts as well. No, it just doesn't work with pants. I'm wearing it with skirts as well, and I really love the finished look of it. So if you are scared of intarsia, you know, the hardcore intarsia that's got flowers, birds, and everything else. This is the easiest way to actually get into it. It's a lot of fun to knit, and the yarn didn't get tangled up like it does when I'm doing color work. That makes it so advantageous. I really enjoyed it. I think I'll do another design with the same concept for the winter. I've already, you know, come up with the preliminary plans for it, and I'm looking forward to it because I really enjoyed this process. Oh yeah, I still have one finished object left. The Lisebo socks. I think these ones were not in progress when I did the last podcast. They're more of an impromptu thing or a more spontaneous item. I think what I've been struggling with was that I didn't have much balance in terms of the stuff I've been knitting. There've been lots of garments, and working on garments on their own can be a bit tedious sometimes because you take so long to finish stuff, and you wake up every day and you have to just do a little bit of everything, and it can get quite exhausting. So sometimes I try to make sure that I've got at least 1 or 2 garments, a shawl or a cowl or a hat, and then a pair of socks. But I think lately that balance hasn't been there, and I've been kind of feeling it. So I cast on those socks. They're DK weight. They're knit with African Expressions Joy, and the navy blue color is 1095, and the light gray is 1057. Or is it one? Okay, I think it's 1057. Anyway, I'll check and write the correct color in the description box. So this is a very simple looking sock which took 3 attempts to get. So, you know, I think one of the weirdest things about knitting and designing knitwear is that the simple items that are meant to take very little time end up taking the most in order for you to just get the right dimensions, or sometimes just make sure that everything falls into place at the right place and at the right time. And that's the case with this sock. I wanted these stripes to be so flawless and look so easy. So it took a while for me to just get this right. That's why I gave the socks the name Lisebo, because Lisebo, the meaning of the word is more of something that is understated, something that is not, that does not show its obvious uniqueness, but it does have those qualities, and yet you don't see them at first glance. So that's what actually happened with these socks. At face value, they're just basic, simple, bold striped socks, but it takes quite a bit to get those stripes fit just right with every size and look as if you're just knitting one size, like the way some of these accessories look when you're buying them from a commercial outlet. They just look like they were just cut from the same fabric in the same way, but when you're actually hand knitting them, it takes a lot to make them look the same regardless of the size that you're doing. So that took a bit of some balancing out, and on the 3rd attempt I got the results that I liked. So I'm happy with this. These socks are probably going to launch next week, and the testing is done. All that I have to do is to just finalize the document. I did the photos yesterday, so it's going to be launching next week. And the name is Lisebo, and you can work on this with any DK weight yarn. So I think that's all as far as finished objects are concerned. Now the next items I'll be talking about are works in progress. I've got 2 secret works in progress that's also going to really mess up with the flow of the stuff and what I can actually show, because, you know, I think the challenging thing about having secret works in progress is that the next time I record, there'll be little progress maybe on some of these things, and it won't make sense that all this time, how come there hasn't been much progress? But the secret pieces also take so much time, and they're all knit in much thinner yarn than what I've been showing right now, because all these items were in Aran weight yarn and the socks were in DK, so everything was working up fast. But I'm doing a sports weight and a fingering weight item, So they're taking so much time, but I can't share them, and they're taking time away from the things that I can share. I'll just try to balance it out so that next time I do a podcast, there's actually something to show. I'll see how I can work that out. The next item that might be done the next time I show it here is the Leruo Cardigan. I spoke about it the last time. I think I was talking about casting it on when I was doing the previous episode. So now it's somewhere here. It's a 2x2 ribbed cardigan, so this won't show very much. This is how it looks. It's got these raglan increases right there, and it's v-necked, and it's going to be cropped. So I think I need to do about 4 inches, and then it will be ready for binding off. It's just 2x2 ribbing. I wanted to make it as simple and as plain as I possibly could. It will have a double knitted, much thicker button band, but it won't have any buttons. It won't have a button wall. It's just going to be an open short cardigan. It's been inspired by the Khanyisa Cardigan that I did in 2019. So it's also going to have a similar look. That one had stockinette at the top and some cables. So this one is just going to be ribbing. It's meant to be thrown over whatever I'll be wearing, a dress, some pants, and I'm really looking forward to this. So the name Leruo means wealth. So when I was looking at this, I was thinking about gold and everything else. That's why I came up with the name Leruo. It's so hard to name those things, so just gotta fish around for appropriate names, sometimes based on color, design, or whatever inspired the design. But it's the hardest thing that I ever have to do when I'm designing knitwear. It's knit with Brooklyn Tweed, Imbue, worsted, and as I mentioned that about this last week, the yarn is sponsored, and the color is Warbler. Yeah, it's a very beautiful golden color with some speckles of red, and sometimes they look a bit greenish. It's a very interesting color, and that's why I wanted to do a very basic stitch that's just going to show off the beauty of the yarn. I'm not sure how long the sleeves are going to be, because I've got 12 or 11 of these skeins, and initially I hadn't planned to knit a garment, but when I saw the yarn I thought this will do well as a garment. So I think I'll have to do the double knit button band when I bind off the body, and then the length of the sleeves will be determined by how much yarn I have left. I might end up doing 3/4 sleeves if I have to, but I just want to make sure that the rest of the cardigan is done before I work on the sleeves. So this is where I am with this at the moment. It's really making good progress. I had to pause it a bit when I was doing the other pieces and just finalizing stuff for the shoot, but I think if I really sit on it and work on it, I'll be done with the body in a day, maybe over the weekend, and then I'll also do the sleeves in a few days. And then the last piece that I have on my needles, I also spoke about this last week. No, not last week. I did the last episode a month ago. I think that was mid-January. The initial plan was to just get this one going as quickly as possible. Here it is. It's a half Fisherman Rib wrap cardigan. So I spoke about working on this last month, and honestly I thought I was just going to cast this on, start working, and it will flow, but that wasn't the case. It took, I think, 6 attempts to get to a point that I wanted. So since last month, this is how much I have done. I finally got it right 2 weeks ago. That's when I actually got it right, and I just did a little bit, but I had to put it aside to finish other items, and I picked it up the day before yesterday, and I've done most of the increases, and now that the increases for the back are done. I'm just knitting down a bit before I pick up stitches for the fronts on these points here and on this side too. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I love half fisherman stitch more than I love brioche. So okay, my light just went out. I hope you'll be able to see the remainder of the video. So this is half fisherman rib instead of, you know, the regular brioche stitch. Normally when you're working half fisherman rib, you knit one below and purl one on the right side, and then on the wrong side, if you're working flat, you just knit, and then when you turn your work to the right side, there'll be purl bumps, and then when you knit one below, those purl bumps sort of disappear on the knit stitches. But I have never really liked that method. So what I normally do is knit one below and purl one on the right side, and when I turn the work, all the knit stitches, I knit one below and purl one. That's how I've been doing it, and I love the squishiness of the fabric. It still looks good, and it doesn't look too brioche. I don't have issues with brioche, but I kind of like the texture that I get, because I tried all sorts of methods when I was swatching this, but this is the method that I actually liked. I've knit some scarves. I think if I can find a photo or two, I'll insert them. I've knit some scarves this way in the past. I think the last time I worked the stitch was 2011. It's been quite a while, and I've really loved working on it that way. There isn't really any reason why I don't like knitting it the way it's usually written, but I think that's how I learned when I was a kid, and I stuck to that method, and I haven't changed it since. So for this, I'm using this cone, but I had to wind it here because I didn't want to be carrying a cone around. This is still a portable project, and I'm enjoying carrying it around. And the color is 2062, and that's African Expressions Harmony again, like the one I used for the Intarsia cardigan. This is a dark gray, and it's also working up very nicely. I think there's something about these, you know, nice squishy stitches and thick yarn. It really works out so nice, so much nicer than I think the thinner yarn. So that's just about it with the stuff that I have to work on. I'm now left with the two items right here that are still a secret, but I'll be sharing one of them in October, and the other one will probably launch sooner than that. So that's all that I have on my needles. So I've got 4 active projects, and I've still got the lace button down blouse that I spoke about, and the striped v-neck pullover. I ran out of yarn when I was doing one of the sleeves, so I'll be ordering the yarn and I'll finish that up. But I'm trying to make sure that by the time I start working on the summer items, these other fall, not fall, spring items are done. I've also got 2 summer items that I started on last year, but it was so late. I think by the end of August, I wasn't even done with them. I figured by the time I'm done testing them, it will be winter almost. So one of them is almost finished. I think I'm left with about 2 inches or so, and the other one is has progressed well. I think I've done a third of the work. So for summer, I've already got 2 projects that are started, and I'm making progress. I'll be making progress on those as soon as I knock those ones out, and then I'll be casting on the dress. I would have loved to be somewhere with the dress, but I've still got a couple of things I need to finish up. Maybe I'll start on it on the 1st of March. I'll have to force myself to start on it, even if I'm not done with some stuff, because dresses take a while to test and for me to knit the sample. But I don't think there are projects that we need to be really scared of that much. It's almost the same as knitting 2 sweaters, or maybe slightly less than 2, because in this case the dress I'm knitting is going to be around knee length. It will be flared. So this year I'm planning to knit 2 summer dresses, one will be sleeveless, the other one will have certain short sleeves. So both dresses are going to be fitted at the top and kind of move away from the body and have some shaping that flares them out, so that when you knit the dress, you don't have to worry about the side, about fitting the bust and fitting the hips as well, because that can be a bit of a challenge, particularly with dresses. So I just wanted to design dresses that fit at the top, whereby you only have to worry about fitting the top, probably with no ease or maybe some slight negative ease, and then the rest of the body just fits much looser. That way I think it's easier to pick the most appropriate size for your body shape, and we don't have to worry about different bodies fitting the same dress, because with dresses the challenge is that if there's too much shaping, it becomes much harder, because our bodies are shaped in different ways. Some people are more of inverted triangles, some are pear shaped, some have got larger tops than bottoms, some have got the larger bottoms than tops. So it's very tricky to find a balance and to actually have the sizing working out for different body shapes, hence the need for more flat dresses that just fit here and you don't have to worry about anything below the bust. That's the aim. And then the other thing that I'll be working on, that I'll be casting on maybe before I even finish this, are a pair of socks. I'll be using some leftover yarns. I've got 2 little balls of the yarns, but I've got more of the yarns somewhere in the house. So I'll be using both colors. They'll sort of like be faded together. And these are leftovers from the Khwezi Cardigan that I launched 2 years back, I think. So I'll be using these 2 colors for some black lace socks. I've never done like totally black socks, so I'm looking forward to having them in lace, and I hope my photographer will pull off a stunt and get some really good pictures that will show off the lace and everything. So I'm excited about the future projects that I have. I just want to knock out the spring stuff and get it all done and tested, but I'm hoping that the next time I do a recording, I'll have some summer items. I'm looking forward to some more neutral tops that I'll be knitting and some very bright socks. This year I really am keen on knitting some really bright socks, so I'm hoping to share those with you soon. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'll be sharing more videos with you as often as I can. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.